Dear students, here we are with the part 3 video of income tax provisions of income from other source IFOS provisions. Part 3 we are dealing. I don't know what is happening. In part 1 we have discussed one theory question. In part 2 we have discussed another theory question. If you learn those two theory questions, one will come immediately, but you need to remember those for the solving the problem also. And one more theory short questions are there, other things. Okay, so here is the grossing up interest. There may be this theory question also, how to gross up the interest on securities, because in income from other sources we will take gross income. So grossing up of interest on securities is one of the important question which we are going to deal now. So these three parts are base for your income from other sources. I think this should be the last part of theory. App is irritating me a lot. It is, what to say, it is disturbing, making some issues. If I record for 2 to 3 minutes, it is doing some mischievous things and getting closed. So let us see the interest on securities. If you see in the textbook, calculation of interest on securities, gross interest calculation, model 1, model 2, model 3 will be there. But if you follow this chart and remember this in your brain, you can easily calculate the interest on securities. Suppose securities information, 10% loan. Okay, 10% loan from dash okay, rupees 1 lakh. Loan, wait a minute, rupees 1 lakh. This is the loan amount and this is the rate of interest on loan. So loan from, suppose government, some government they said, okay, if our loan are of government, then if rate of interest is given, first in the question we need to see, first in the question we need to check whether rate of interest is given. If rate of interest is given in the chart, you need to follow this. Is it, first you need to ask, is it government? If rate is given, what we need, if it is government, if it is government, face value into rate by 100. What is the face value? 1 lakh. What is the rate? So 1 lakh into 10 by 100, it will be 1000. That is the gross interest. If it is less tax, commercial, listed or unlisted. If it is less tax, commercial, listed or unlisted. will tell it is as less tax. So here they didn't tell it is government. Some GUT Gautami company, they said loan from Gautami company, they said in brackets they said less tax, in brackets they said less tax. Okay, whether it is listed or unlisted, no problem. If they say less tax, we need to take face value into rate by 100. Okay, next, if rate is given, if rate is given, if it is not government, if it is not less tax, then it will be tax free. This is very important point. So if rate is given, if it is tax free, commercial, listed or unlisted, no problem. In step 1 we will get net income, in step 2 we will get gross. So if it is tax free, commercial, tax free, commercial, I repeat, आप लोग भी repeatedly बोल लो, tax free commercial, 2 steps. Step 1, face value into rate by 100, whatever you did previously. So how much you will get? This 10,000 you will get. Then step 2, gross interest is equals to net interest which you got in step 1 into 100 by 90, generally we will take. So 100 by 90 we need to take. After step 1 we need to do step 2 also. For what? If it is tax free commercial, if it is tax free commercial, when rate is given. So simply what I will tell, if rate is given in the question, if rate is given in the question, you check is it tax free commercial, do two steps, do two steps. If it is not tax free and commercial, tax free government, you will take face value into rate by 100, only one step. They said commercial less tax, okay, or government less tax, whether this government is less tax or tax free, don't worry about it. This government can be less tax or tax free, no problem, only one step. When you will do two steps, tax free commercial, then only you will do two steps, otherwise only one step, that's it. So rate of interest is given, percentage rate of interest is given, do this one. Okay, next, if interest amount is given, if interest amount is given, then you check. Suppose they say interest received rupees 5,000 from some government loan, they said. So is it government? If it is government, what, whether they'll say tax free or less tax, don't worry. Whether they say tax free or less tax, don't worry. When interest amount is given, how much interest you have received is given, no need to gross up, take interest given as the gross interest. जो भी इंटरेस्ट अमाउंट दे रहे, वो इंटरेस्ट अमाउंट एज इट इज ले लो, उसके लिए ग्रॉस अप करने की जरूरत नहीं है. वट एवर इंटरेस्ट रिसीव्ड इज ग्रॉस इंटरेस्ट. ओके, suppose if it is not government, then it can be commercial, tax free or less tax. Tax free or less tax, don't worry. Then check the amount of interest, how much amount they are saying. If it is less than 5,000, no need to gross up, no need to gross up. If it is less than or equal to 5,000, whatever interest amount is given, that you take. If it is more than 5,000, that is 6,000 or 5,001 rupee also, you need to do net interest, whatever interest they have given, into 100 by 90. This is the simplest thing. I repeat, first check interest rate is given, yes. Is it tax free commercial, do two steps, otherwise only one step, face value into rate by 100. If it is interest rate is not given, then they will give interest amount. Then you ask, Is it government? If it is government, no need to gross up. Okay, it is not government. What is the interest amount? Next question should be, what should be interest amount? If it is less than 5,000, no need to gross up. If it is more than 5,000, we need to gross up. How to gross up? Whatever interest given, that amount into 100 by 90. This we did in the class many a times. So that's it. I don't want to waste much time, but this is the very important thing. Some other points you need to remember while doing the problem. Those points are here. One by one we will discuss. If assessee does not provide PAN number, then TDS will be deducted at the rate 20% or higher rate of the generally 20%. आप याद रखो, आपके लिए इतना ही काफ़ी है. So if TDS is not provided, we need to take gross interest is equals to net interest into, generally what we are taking 100 by 90, but here we need to take 100 by 80. If PAN number is not provided or KYC not done, they say. Okay, generally this. If nature of securities is not mentioned, whether it is government or less tax or tax free, they are not saying, just interest received from securities they said. Okay, general assumption that securities is of less tax, unlisted security is held by assessee on due days of interest. आपको 2 बार इंटरेस्ट आएगा बोल के सोच लेते. So this is one more point. TDS will be deducted in case of interest amount exceeding 5,000. That is what I am saying. Before also I told, if it is more than 5,000, then only you take, otherwise don't take. Just take the amount, no need to do any gross up. That's what we have discussed before. If it is not government, if it is less than 5,000, no need to gross up. If it is more than 5,000, interest amount received into 100 by 90 generally. If PAN is not provided, 100 by 80. TDS will be deducted on winning from lotteries, crossword puzzles, game shows, etc. If amount, प्राइज अमाउंट एक्सीड 10,000, आपको 10,000 से ज़्यादा आए तो ही आपको क्या रहेगा, 30% डिडक्ट होगा. तो इन केस ऑफ दिस, हाउ यू विल ग्रॉस अप? सपोज समवन हैज़ गॉट रुपीज what will you 70,000 from कौन बनेगा करोड़पति. Then what we need to do, 70,000 into TDS will be deducted how much, 100, 30%. So 100 minus 30, how much it will be, 70. So 70,000 into 100 by 70 we need to take in case of casual incomes. Okay, TDS will be deducted on winning from horse races in case of amount exceeding 5,000. For others it is 10,000 limit, for horse races 5,000. Please remember this point also. Okay, TDS rate is 30% only. Same thing we will do, but if it is more than 5,000 we need to take here. Next point, TDS will be deducted, this is over now. Provisions relating to family pension, widow pension. Okay, this we will discuss later, keep it aside. Okay, if widow is not if deceased person is not a gallantry award or not in defense forces, in that case 1/3 of pension received or up to 15,000, whichever is less, that will be allowed as exemption or deduction, you can say. This is a deduction Okay, this is a deduction under section 57 we need to take. So while taking the income, you take total pension. Widow pension comes under what? Income from other sources, but up to 15,000 or one third of the pension received is exempt. Remaining amount is taxable, but the person who is receiving or the person on behalf uh, she receiving should not be gallantry award uh, or that is Paramavira Chakra, Mahavira Chakra, like that, or he he should not be a person of defense forces. We will do this problem once, don't worry. I'll explain that again. One more thing here the I told you to write it later, but they left the space but they didn't write. Here one more point we need to take. If securities if securities are purchased through demat account, which account? Okay, demat account, then no need to gross up. Whatever interest received will be gross interest, because in case of securities which are purchased through demat, TDS will not be deducted. TDS will not be deducted. No TDS. Okay, simply no TDS. So no need to gross up in case of demat account. Okay, please remember this point. This will be asked in the exam also. So these are the some important things. Other than this, in the part 1 I said we are going to discuss some points later on. Now it is time for us to discuss those points one by one. Let us see those. One more thing you need to remember. One more thing here I'll tell. So let me tell that we will get deduction on loan taken to purchase the, and another thing, collection charges, bank collection charges. This may be given as a percentage either on net interest or gross interest. So if we say net interest, we need to take on net interest. If we simply say 5% collection, on this value we will take. Okay, next thing, interest on loan taken to purchase the securities. This interest will be calculated on the basis of on the basis of number of months of loan taken. That is, from the date on which we have purchased the securities to the end of the financial year we will take. From the date when we have taken the, suppose you have purchased some securities on 1st January, say 50,000 securities, and for to purchase this you have taken a loan from bank of 50,000. On this 50,000 you are paying interest at the rate 10%. We say this 10% whatever you are paying will be allowed as deduction, but number of months will be, when you have taken the loan, 1st January you have taken the loan. From 1st January to 31st March, how many months will be there? 31st March till the 31st March. January, February, March. Okay, 3 months duration. So 50,000 into 10%, 5,000 into 3 by 12 we need to take for the 57 interest calculation purpose. Whereas when securities are sold or purchased during the current, I am saying current financial year, that is the previous year in which we are doing the income calculation. Your previous year is 2018 to 19. So in between, if you sell or purchase any securities, for that purpose interest will be calculated 6 months each half year. Each half yearly we will receive the interest received. I am saying about for interest received now. Previously interest paid we have discussed. Now it is relating to interest received part. For interest received, 6 months period interest we will receive, whether you hold even for a single day or for 1 month, you will receive entire 6 months interest. Suppose interest due dates are due dates of interest are June and December every year. June and December. Suppose you have purchased securities in July. When you have purchased in July, any date, 15th July or some other date, no problem. But when you are receiving interest in June and December, but when you have purchased at the time of, simple question you ask, at the time of payment of interest due dates, are you the owner of securities? No. In June, do you have securities? No. So will you get 6 months interest for June? No. This interest you will not receive. But December, did you hold? Yeah, from July onwards you are having now. So July onwards you are having, so you will receive 6 months interest here. But this part of interest you will not receive. Suppose it is uh, March and, sorry, not March, first they will say September and March are the interest dates. September and March are the interest dates. So when you have purchased on जुलाई के बाद सितंबर आएगा. सितंबर में तुम्हारे पास सिक्योरिटीज है. तो कहाँ से, जुलाई से सितंबर तक कितने महीने हैं? जुलाई, August, September, 3 months. Will you take for 3 months? No. We need to take for entire 6 months. अच्छा, जुलाई में आपके पास है, मार्च में आपके पास है, डू यू हैविंग सितंबर में, जुलाई में परचेज करे, सितंबर में है, तो मार्च में भी रहेगा, बिकॉज जुलाई, अगस्त, सितंबर, अक्टूबर, नवंबर, दिसंबर, जनवरी, फरवरी, मार्च आएगा। यहाँ पे फाइनेंशियल ईयर अप्रैल टू मार्च फॉलो होता है इनकम टैक्स में। सो इफ यू आर होल्डिंग, if you have purchased in July, what is the interest due date? September. Are you having securities? Yes. If you are having securities, you will receive entirely for 6 months. Okay. One more thing. Suppose this is about purchases. Suppose you have sold. Suppose you have sold the securities. Sold the securities. Till the time you are having the securities, for that period only you will receive. Suppose you sold in अक्टूबर, 1 अक्टूबर को आपने सेल कर दिए, व्हेन वी आर रिसीविंग इन सितंबर, अनदर इन मार्च, तो सितंबर में आपके पास है सिक्योरिटीज है, 30 सितंबर तक आपके पास थे, 1 अक्टूबर को सेल कर दिए, तो सितंबर के 6 मंथ्स इंटरेस्ट आपको मिलेगा, मार्च का मिलेगा क्या, आपने सेल कर दिए तो आपके पास अक्टूबर के बाद नहीं है ना, तो ये पार्ट में नहीं मिलेगा। ओके, मार्च का नहीं मिलेगा। बीन सोल्ड इन जनवरी एंड इंटरेस्ट डेट्स आर जून, अप्रैल, मई,